Hello buddy, welcome to another quick video. Now, you may or may not have seen, but OM Systems has released the OM-5. Their sort of essentially mid-range camera, which is a follow-on from what was the Olympus EM5 Mark III. It's getting a few mixed reviews, and so I'll give you a couple of thoughts on it and sort of give you my take really. And more specifically, being an OM1 user, there's a reason why I sort of give that take on it. But so just up at Birchover at the moment, just get some of the nice colours that are coming through. So we're going to take you for a walk and we'll have a bit of a chat. So the EM5 Mark III, it was a good mid-range camera, but it was always a step below the EM1s. The idea was it was a mid-range to sort of get you into the system with a lot of the features that are useful. Essentially it was an EM1 Mark II in a smaller body with a couple of bits tweaked around it. Obviously with the OM system sort of regeneration essentially, it was expected they were going to release a mid-range to replace the EM5, and that's what they've done. It's called the OM-5. It's the first one to actually not have the Olympus branding anywhere on the camera. I think it's the sort of thing that they needed the OM1 first, and I think it set a bit of a precedent as to how good the OM1 is. It's given quite a few people a bit of a sort of I'm not too sure about the OM5. I think a lot of it is down to the specs that they've gone for. So where do I think that they're actually pitching the OM5 at? I think it's more of a case of, if you've already got an EM5 Mark III, the upgrade path is more of a slight increment. It's nothing fantastic. It's more of a case of they're actually dropping the Olympus line in favour of the OM System one, which kind of makes sense. It's a different company now. Well, I say different company. The factory's still in the same place. You know, the same people are actually sort of building the camera, so that the system's the same. They're just not owned by the same parent company anymore. So rather than it being like the OM1 was a wow camera, so it's their technological innovation, they're throwing everything in there to actually show what we can do, sort of thing. It's more sort of dropped back to a sort of an increment to say, right, okay, you've got your OM1, that's your main sort of big camera, and the next stop down, that's your mid-range, so you're not going to get all the singing, all dancing like you got with the OM1. And I think a lot of people are slightly disappointed about that. I think they're expecting it to be yet another sort of OM1, but I can't see a reason why they would actually want to do that for a couple of reasons. One, it would actually take away the sales of the OM1, which obviously is their flagship. They want to be sort of pushing that as much as they can. And the other side of it is if they put too much in there, it makes the next increment even more difficult to actually achieve. So it's sort of getting that balance and getting the level right. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic camera, but I don't think if you've got an EM5 Mark III, it's worthwhile actually upgrading. So they did put in some computational stuff. Like, so you've got live ND now, which is down to, I think it's 4 stops, so it's ND16. You've got an ND64 actually in the OM1, so there's quite a bit of a difference in there. But it's a handy little feature to have in there. It's not something that was in the EM5 Mark I. There's a lot of bits like sort of they've increased the speed of the focusing because they've got the newer processor in there. I think it's more of an incremental upgrade. I think you're not going to get sort of stuff like sort of the True Pick X that you've got in the OM1 used in there. I think it's a 9 that they've used, but it's still an upgrade from the old one. But it does give you a bit more over the EM5 Mark III. EM5 Mark III, obviously, at the moment in the UK, it's sort of retail about £1,049, and you're looking at £1,199 for the OM5, so it's about 150 quid more. So essentially you're paying for some of the extra features that are being put in there. How long they'll keep the EM5 Mark III running, I don't know. It's the sort of thing they might just run the stocks down and let it go. But it's the sort of thing, if you're looking towards the EM5 Mark III, it's worthwhile looking at the OM5, because you are going to get a bit more for a little bit more money, but you've got a little bit more on the feature set. Yes, there's a few things that aren't fantastic. I'll just cover that for you now. A couple of things that I think really would have helped out. They've stuck with a micro USB charging system. Yes, it's got in-camera charging now, but they're stuck with the marquee USB. They would have been better off going to USB-C. It opens up the options a bit more with the ability to charge either faster or sort of the connectors really are a bit more reliable. So it's a bit of a shame they didn't do that. They also didn't actually upgrade the viewfinder, which I know it's a bit of a sort of hit and miss thing. I mean, they're stuck with the original sensor rather than using the OM-1's backlit sensor, but I think that's more of a cost thing. But they would have sort of done well to actually upgrade the viewfinder, possibly even the screen. Just give that little bit of extra resolution in there. Certainly sort of using Trace's EM1 Mark III, which has got the same viewfinder as the OM-5, compared to the OM-1, I find it a lot easier to get crystal clear shots with the OM-1 because your detail's better in the viewfinder, so it's something I wish they had actually done on that. But they are fairly minor things, but to me they're the main things that really they should have upgraded. Like I said, at the moment we're actually up in Birchover area, up at Stanton Moor, but we're in the lower part of the woods that we've been before. Mainly because obviously we've got some autumn colours coming along now, and the fungi should be in good swing because we've got some sort of reasonably wet weather just lately. So that's why we're up here. But I thought I'd have a bit of a chat with you about the OM-5 and generally sort of what I thought about it. But yeah, it's the sort of thing that it's an incremental upgrade. It's more so they can shift away from the Olympus system. It's not going to be a groundbreaking camera. They're not going to lose sales on the OM-1 because of it. But like I said before, yes, it's the sort of thing, they're essentially not a new company, but they've got to reinvent themselves in the market. And I think it'll sit just in the right place. It's a good camera. I'm certainly not going to take it away from it. There's some nice little features been put in there, which does make it a nice incremental upgrade from the M5 Mark III. It's a bit like when they went from the EM1 Mark II to the EM1 Mark III. A lot of people said it wasn't really worth upgrading because it's just a small incremental upgrade. It's basically the same sort of thing again. But yeah, like I said, a lot of reviewers are slating it, and I don't think it really deserves it. I think it's a fine camera, but it's not the sort of thing that you would go out if you got an EM5 Mark III and instantly want to upgrade. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it anyway. But I'm going to have a wander around, get a few shots in. There's a few nice little bits of fungi popping up, so I'll pop a few pictures at the end here now for you. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think it's something that they should have increased the capacity a bit more? Is it something that they should have made it yet another wow camera, or have they done the right thing with going just a small incremental upgrade? Drop us a comment down below and we'll have a chat about it. But for now, thanks for watching and we'll see you again next time.